Hello guys, in this new video where I will be discussing changes of the game in Armies of Exigo. So first off we are going to talk about the early game, and the early game is mostly the place where you will plan what you will be doing for the rest of your game, what tactic you will choose. Will you fast expand, will you start defending, will you start rushing, or will you just play balanced? What means, of course, that it is normal, basic strategy. So basic units, nothing very special. So yeah, in the early game, the early game is one of the most impactful stages of the game, and you most likely have a bunch of gold, but you will just lack peasants to mine the gold. You most likely won't have many advanced units, and it is very likely that early game will just stay up until you will have Stone Keep or Dark Altar or the Soul Trap. So in the early game you only have basic units like Swordsman, Stingers and Warriors. This is also a moment where beasts are very good because Goblin Riders completely shred through enemies, but you will most likely not have them until mid game. So in the mid game, you are just further creating your army. At that point, you have temples, you have catapults, trolls, maybe even you are starting to make some Avengers, but pretty much only like two. You pretty much only have like two Avengers and barely can afford them. So yeah, that's about the point. You probably have to expand, and you will most likely battle someone at least. So yeah, at this point you are pretty much halfway burned through your gold reserves, and you are starting to think about expanding at least now. Other than if you already went for expansion in the game, then it wouldn't be a problem right now. Yes, so the mid game of course ends about when you start getting units like knights, steambeards, and pretty much when you have massive armies of Valkyries. Also, mid game ends for Fallen when they get at least like 10 Avengers, Stalkers. Not necessarily Stalkers and Avengers, but mostly it's Marks that time. And Beasts will mostly start to do some Warlocks, Ogres, and try to pretty much build anything they really can, because they have really a limited amount of things they can really do in the start of late game. And now we are going to end game, and in end game you are really starting to run out of gold. You really have like pretty much 200 in your starting base, if you even have some, but that is mostly is when we mostly run out of resources depending on what race did you choose, or what race did you end up with, because beasts of course mine gold and gems the fastest of all the workers. That's also why they are very good in early game rushing, really good advantage. And yeah, you most likely conquered someone, or the game is starting to be starts to be closing. In the end game, you will probably have a bunch of knights fully fully upgraded mostly. You will also have a lot of priests, catapults. Uh, you can also like have some phoenixes, valkyries. Fallen will most likely have a bunch of avengers. Not really much you can do about that. They will also have a bunch of stalkers, and even to just counter enemy stingers. That's a really hard counter avengers, but you really need a lot of stingers to destroy avengers, and yeah, stingers are less and less good the more avengers they have. But remember, they can also hit themselves with the avenging strike. I think it was called obsidian. Yeah. So that's also a thing, and beasts will die, I guess, depending on the map, of course, because if you have some kind of coral islands or blood canyons, then you would most likely have flying armies. And yeah, at this point in the game, it is starting to be closing a bit on par, par, some of the players are already eliminated, and yeah, you are starting to run out of resources. And we are up to late game. So, to quickly explain ultra late game, it is basically the point where you will have where you run out of resources. Yes, you are poor, but not poor in the sense that you have very low money stored, because it happens a lot that in ultra late game you have stored like 10,000 gold, because you are just not going to get any more of those gold, so it's a really good idea to have some as a face save. So yeah, pretty much no one has any gold right now. Of course, everyone will have a lot of gems and wood. And yeah, if you are standing up to this point, and it's not a 1v1, and it's like FFA, then you are in a really good position, right? Most likely you are going to have second, third place, depending on how many players are still left. But yeah, it's very hard to get to ultra late game. So in ultra late game, mostly you will just see flying armies like full Valkyrie plus Phoenix, or Phoenix plus Steam Beards, but Steam Beards are a bit more of a risk, because you cannot heal Steam Beards, but you get better reward. So then you have Fallen that will just have Stalkers, and actually the best strategy is to still use Avengers, I think. Just teleport them to enemy's base. They can't really do much with their flying units, other if those are specifically wyverns, but you just gotta have some backup from Stalkers. So pretty much as long as you are not fighting two players, one beast and one empire that has phoenixes, then you should be pretty good. Yeah, Steam is also completely counter said Avengers, but that really isn't that much of an issue, because you have Stalkers, and Stalkers are OP, of course. Yeah, if you have any problems with any towers, you can just defile, because I think Lightning Spires still do normal damage, but they are pretty squishy, the Avengers, so shouldn't be much of an issue here. Yeah, and beasts will just have wyverns, manticore riders, maybe some harpies, but mostly just for the ability to see invisible units. That is pretty much always nice to have if someone happens to have some kind of invisible army. That would just screw you up pretty much. Still, you should remember that you can use catapults and trolls to just instruct them to hit in any space, and of course if they are invisible that doesn't mean they are invincible, so you can still attack them but your units just won't see them. Yeah, yeah, and that's pretty much it. You just run out of gold, and ultra late game can sometimes never appear, to be honest. It can happen that you just have so much gold, the map has a lot of gold, or you just have like 100,000 gold per stock, so you may not get there. It is also like it's really hard to get to the late game. The game mostly ends in late game or mid game, late mid game mostly. Other if you are just playing 1v1 or something and you rush. But 1v1s, yeah, ultra late games mostly happens in FFA because no one is really rushing that much, and you are just trying to survive as long as you can to get the best place. So yeah, there might be also scenarios where there is map on gold on the map, but you can't use it because everyone's fighting for it and no one can really expand there because there's too much pressure then, and yeah, no one can really make an expansion there. So yeah, that was the four stages of the game, of course by me, and I'm not any expert at this game. If anything, you just should ask Pavak. But yeah, that's how I think it works. And yeah, ultra late game, pretty cool. No one knows what that means because no one uses that term other than pretty much me and Fenrir. So it's kind of made up, but still, uh, yeah. I hope you will have a great day, and yeah, see ya.